Hear ye and welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Olson, also known as T-Roll. And tonight I am joined by my good friends. First of all, we have Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. And we also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Guys, we are back together.
Back, baby.
A couple weeks of
That's right.
vacations and work and Amato holding the fort down.
Pretty much.
Exactly, yeah.
How y'all feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling great. I'm back from vacation. So, yeah, I was in the
How was
Bahamas.
the cruise?
Man. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong, trust me. Food and drinks all day long.
It's great. Good for you, man.
Yeah, man.
We did not have such pleasures.
But, hey, I listened to your guys' podcast on the drive home. So
Okay.
it gave me some entertainment. And, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Hey, you know what? If you guys listen out there, these are some really good podcasters here, I have to say.
Yeah.
You're biased. You're definitely biased.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Shamato, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. Counting down the weeks, and hopefully this really starts landing the series, and just like everything falls into place just right, and we get to see some really cool stuff turn out.
Shamato wants more answers.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
no.
he got more questions.
Correct, yes.
Once again.
Yeah, exactly. If you are tuning into this expecting all the answers in the world right now from the three of us, we are just as baffled as you.
Yeah, not gonna lie. In my notes, I literally have like 5 question marks. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm not a whole lot of answers.
Yeah.
I attempted to make notes in this episode, but
So
I'll save
we're
that.
talking
Go
about
ahead.
Severance.
Yes.
And my question is, before the spoilers, is this the greatest show of all time?
It's working its way there if it lands. If it lands.
If it lands, yeah.
Yeah.
If it lands, and it does need to land. But it's been fun. Good
Yeah.
night.
It's super fun.
The speculation every week.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
man, excited. All right, so before we get into that, just a shout out to all of our listeners. Thank you for tuning in. We really do appreciate you. We want to remind you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. And if you really want to help us out, here's what you can do. If you have any friends that you know who are watching Severance, the greatest show of all time, just, send this exact episode to them, okay? That's the best way you could help us out. It would really mean a lot to us. And, yeah, with that in mind, I'm going to say spoiler warning.
Yeah.
But before we talk about episode 4, Justin, you weren't here for
That's
episode
right.
3.
I was not.
Any comments, anything you feel like you want to add to, to some extent? Yeah, I mean, if you got any thoughts on episode 3, let's hear it.
Man, I feel like last week for me was like the definitive of I was on the kick of that Helly is actually Helena. And last week kind of solidified it for me, just because.
Yeah, and I gave in last week.
You did.
'cause
You did.
listened,
You
heard
mentioned.
that.
You said I was right. You think I'm right. You're in my camp if I am right. That kind of thing. But yeah, because of the goat scene, because of just the way she was interacting, like she was in command and like kind of like making decisions and stuff like that, rather than before Helly was like, yeah, she was very sporadic, but like and confused and wasn't really like confident in what was going on. But when she was down there and with like the goats and Mark was very like hesitant to get anything out of them, she's the one who took the paper. She's the one that like said, all right, let's get the ball rolling. Like, have you seen this person? Like, do you know who she is? And then allowed Mark to kind of step up and
Yeah. I think the biggest thing in season 1 was Helly was consumed with the idea of getting out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like more than anything else about what was down there, it was how do I get out?
Yeah. And
yeah.
So I feel like
season 2, she's been like, here, I'll help you out, Mark.
yeah, exactly. Yes. So like I feel like her personality is just so different, so strange.
Yeah.
But that's all I really have to add. You guys did a
And
great
again,
job.
the spoilers are, we said spoilers, so getting into episode 4,
Yeah.
the Glasgow lock,
Yeah.
which we will talk at length more later, but
Yeah.
it's like
Block. Yeah.
block.
Yep.
Yes, excuse me. The Glasgow block. Yeah, like if I would have known that existed, then but at the time I was like, oh no, it has to do with the location of the floor. The location of the exit door and the hallway. Like we saw that in season 1.
Yeah.
And I do think,
But-
like we talked about it a little bit last week, and I was like, I think there are ways that they could get around it. Like,
Well, we just didn't know.
yes.
Well, we saw in the finale of season 1 there was a bunch of functions for like the overtime protocol, but
True.
they had like Beehive and they even had Glasgow was the one
Yeah, it
on the
was on
bottom
there.
one there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, there's more functions.
What are those
we have yet
other
to
What are
see.
those
Yeah.
other words?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go theorize.
Beehive is an interesting.
Very, very
Yes.
interesting.
Excuse me. Okay. Anything else you want to say about the goats? Because you specifically texted us and did like.
Well, no, I was just that was a huge scene because of I feel
her.
like of her. She like
Yeah.
her demeanor, her everything in that scene. Like I think screamed Helena, and she was outing herself in there. And so, but you guys didn't really mention that or bring that up. So.
Yeah, well,
because you weren't fully on board with my theories.
Yeah, we mentioned a lot of things.
Yes,
But they don't have pouches.
they don't.
And
have
it proves
pouches.
nothing. Okay, episode 4. Holy smokes! Why don't you just start with
I saw
the
it
text?
first.
Yeah,
I saw it first.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
before any of that, it dropped at like 9 or whatever on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And I probably tuned in around 10 o'clock or something like that.
And you texted us.
The episode
immediately.
started, right? All I got to say is this: the episode started, and you see Irv kind of come into it. I immediately was like, "Oh, here we freaking go, man! What weirdness, craziness is about to take place?" But yes, I did text you guys afterwards, and I was like, "Did you guys watch yet?" Or
And
you're
I
not
decided
ready.
to watch it on Thursday night late.
Okay.
I
I said
like,
you're
can't.
not ready. I said you guys are not ready for this.
Yeah,
episode.
I was worried about being so amped up that I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it kind of happened a little
Yeah.
bit. But
My mind was racing. I didn't go to bed for like another hour and a half after that. It was insane. But I was just I said literally the game has changed.
okay, so overall thoughts on episode 4 then, Shamato.
I mean, I think you are correct. Like, there's a whole bunch. There were so many moving parts to what happened. Like what it means for the rest of the year, what it means for the rest of the season, for characters, like what's going to end up happening. Like, there's all kinds of like possibilities. Just thinking about the shift in the dynamics of being down there. Like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's so much going on there that is going to change how everybody interacts with everybody else. You know,
That's good.
so it's just, as we get into it, we can talk more like specifics in the episode, but I just feel like there's so many moving parts from here on out.
Yeah, I agree. There was a lot of questions though. There's more questions
Yes.
that came up. There was a lot of questions last week. There's even more questions this week, and I feel like only one question got answered for me, and I'm glad I was right. So
It was I will say, it was a very big question.
it was huge. You're right. Good point.
It was.
Good
And
point.
and the reveal of how.
There's a lot to talk about in that.
I
We
know.
just need to keep moving. I mean, we
Okay, well,
dive
first buy or sell.
in. Ooh.
I was thinking there might be a couple sneak buy or sells.
Okay.
That we're not going to wait to the penultimate episode. Buy or sell.
Oh boy,
They're not actually outside somewhere in some national forest,
I'm buying that.
but they're on
They're in
some
Lumen
level of
property,
the Lumen
I agree.
facility.
I'm buying that. Buy it.
Or it's all like in their heads or something like that.
Simulation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some sort of a simulation. I could see it being that.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Like, I mean, I don't think I recognized how significant it was until Dylan was like, there's
there's no ceiling.
There's no ceiling. I was like, oh yeah,
Like, of course, like anything, like, honestly, I would love to just hear Dylan explain mundane things because he just has these interesting takes on like everything. Because like the way that he comes out with it, and he's like, I knew there wasn't a ceiling, but this is amazing.
yeah.
Like,
First time outside, theoretically, yeah. And the reason I say that
Yes.
is we can't almost believe anything we see at face value anymore
True.
with this show.
Correct.
But it does seem like, how could they pull that off? It looked like, there was real snow, real fire, some sort of
Well,
dead
if
animal.
you-
Like there's all sorts of.
If you remember Petey's drawing, in one of the corners of his drawing, it says team building, and it looks like a bunch of rooms and stuff over there.
Ooh,
Could
interesting.
be he could have stumbled upon this area.
yeah.
And
Or
labeled
what
it.
if PD has been there the longest, and which I think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And maybe he went through a previous team building of some sort.
You mean an Ort bow?
Yes.
Ort bow.
Oh gosh.
So, dude, yeah, we start with Irv on this frozen
Ice.
lake.
Oof.
They're dressed in Russian wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very Kier.
Very Kier. They link up, all four of them, but Irv and Mark apparently came to on the lake, and then Helly,
Cliff. Dude.
Helena, I should say.
Yeah. The shot was incredible, by the way. Like
Yeah.
the pan out where Irv's just standing in the middle of the lake, and you see like
Oh,
a
yeah.
black speck and
Yeah.
just nothingness around him.
Crazy.
Beautiful.
So again, just like you said, right from the jump, I was like, "What is going on?"
Yep,
Because
exactly.
they do this all the time. Where in this show, the way the last episode ends, it feels like you don't pick up right at the end of it.
Nope.
It's just like now we're in some team building exercise,
Like, what is it? Is it the past? Is it the present? Is it the future?
Exactly.
Is it a dream? Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it real? Are they really outside? So okay, and then they're on this TV. Is Shimato's boy Milchick,
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
and he said something about like through the blessings or from the blessings of your Audis, this is how we got you here.
Yep. The retreat.
But that's like
Or with the blessing.
with the blessings,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so you guys both think it's not outside, that it's
I think
basement
it's
level,
yeah.
whatever.
I think it very well could be, or a simulation, or something along those
Okay.
lines.
But even that, how do they come to there and not the elevator?
That has to do with I think turning it on. But like for example, like the Glasgow block, they removed it and she was there. It's something to do with that. That's what it is.
But then even if that's the case, like that means that real Mark goes down the elevator or real Irv goes down the elevator as himself.
So here's my theory on this. Okay,
Okay.
ready? They go to work like normal. They go down the elevator. They turn into Innie, and then they block them down there to where they're inactive. Like they can't do anything. They can't move or anything. And then they relocate them to the team building room. That's what. And then they reactivate them there.
Okay, that's a big theory though. We haven't seen anything.
We
like
haven't,
that.
but I feel like the Glasgow block opens up all these theories for what these other functions can do.
Yeah, what they could be, it could be something like one of them essentially, as you go down, instead of it changing your
Beehive. Think about it.
well,
like a queen bee, right? Everyone follows the orders of the queen bee or whatever,
Yeah.
right? What if that's the how they got there? They literally like activate the beehive and they all just
it's
like
possible.
march where
I
they
think
need to go.
beehive might be a little more like. I think if
Worker
we get a
bee.
beehive, it'll be a little more like sinister.
Mm.
Like if we see it the first time, it'll be like we see them doing things that they want them to do without, like you can tell they don't want to be doing it. I think that would be the first reveal. But I do think there's something like
Forced
maybe
labor.
there's something that like almost freezes them when they go down.
Yeah.
Essentially, like if they go down. And who knows? Maybe it is really just. Who knows? Maybe they're just actually in the Dieter State Park.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe. But
Where's the world's largest waterfall?
as the episode went
Which-
on, oh,
Like that
so
lie, I was
good.
like, "What the?" Like just straight up lying.
So
Just
good.
Straight up.
Like lies like that are just where it's like, I think Milchick's just having fun today.
Or he bought in. Like it's like, is he that insane?
No.
Is he that insane?
No, I think he's like, I'm gonna have a little fun.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
never know if there's a bigger
Well, I think-
waterfall.
Make a
I
point.
don't know,
He's making
like-
a point. Is what he's doing.
Like it could be like a control thing where it's like, the point of them taking there is for it to be something
That they'd be in
grandiose.
awe. That they would
and
be
that,
like, wow.
and that, yeah, like the fact that Kier went there.
And that's
is-
where he tamed the Four Tempers here, the
Yeah.
world's tallest waterfall.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's very well that it'd be something like that. Is it's literally they just because of the fact that it's symbolic of what Kier did there.
Mm-hmm.
It is now known as the largest waterfall in the world, and I can see it very well being one of those things where it's like, oh, but they say it, it's not actually true, but it's believed to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, this episode is crazy.
Yes.
So they're up on the cliff with the TV. They
Yep.
listen to the thing, right?
Instructions. Yeah.
And you'll be helped along the way.
Here we go. Here we go.
And
Here we
Milchick
go.
says this, and they turn around, and it's a silhouette of Mark, right,
Yeah.
looking on the mountain, and he just points.
It's another mark.
Another Mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were, the four of them were like, "What is that?"
Yes, correct.
I don't remember if it was Dylan or Irv.
It was always Dylan.
It was Dylan who
Always
said
Dylan.
that that's our twin, just like
Yeah.
Kier's twin.
Well,
Yeah, because they had brought up
on the video they just watched.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
talked about.
They talked about
they're at Dieter Strait
Dieter,
Park.
yeah.
Dieter
Yes.
Eden Park. Yeah, whatever it is. Anyway, that was so creepy. I was like, what is going on right
Yeah,
now?
just like the way he moves.
Bro.
Although I do think one odd thing is why did they never try to get closer to the twins?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That was one thing that I was always a little bit like.
You know why? Because they're probably scared out of their mind.
That's probably true.
If I saw especially the way like Helly's looked,
that tilted neck,
yes,
kind of like she was like hung.
I'm
I
not
think?
going. I'm not. Oh gosh,
Hmm.
I'm not going anywhere near.
Yeah,
I'm not going anywhere near those things.
if
That's
that's the
probably
reason why I could kind of understand. But also, I'd be like, I would, you kind of want
to know. You got to know.
Yeah,
I
there's
wanna
just
know.
this like,
By the time we got
Ag-
to Dylan's, like when you saw Dylan's twin
Oh,
or whatever,
Gosh, Dylan's twins, the worst.
they looked like they resembled them. It didn't look like they were exactly like them.
No, they definitely resemble them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was an exact twin.
Dylan was the one you saw I feel like you saw
Closest.
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think, it was like, it's close, but it's not.
Not quite.
He was actually a little
Perfect.
skinnier. He really was.
Yeah. I think his face looked a little different.
Yeah, it
too.
did.
Like, it definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, there was something different.
So, pardon me, but what the heck were those things?
Dude, I feel like we're glossing over that. Like, I feel like that's not even the biggest thing people are talking about this episode. Like, I feel like the conversation of Helly is definitely the taking over, but
Yeah.
it's hiding the fact that what the heck are the freaking twins, right? I think it has something to do with the goats. I mean, I think cloning is a possibility now. I think if you the credit sequence. Have you guys watched the credit sequence in the previous episodes?
Like the closing credits?
Well, not the opening, like
The opening credits.
opening credits, closing credits, whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's like little tiny like babies in suits crawling on beds. Like,
yeah.
are they
It's
clones?
it's
like
pretty creepy.
yeah, it's very creepy.
Okay, so now I'm wondering. So we speculated a lot about Gemma, his wife. It's like
Child Gemma is Miss Wong. Is that what you're saying? No.
Nope, not even getting there.
Okay.
that Gemma actually is dead.
Dead.
And that she's just a clone.
It's LMD, man. Life
Nice.
model decoy. Shout out if you know, you know.
Or they're harvesting, and Miss Wong is a kid Gemma. She hasn't grown up to Gemma yet. She's this. Miss Wong.
I think that's
I mean,
honestly that's a
maybe.
more likely possibility than the one about her being one of their children. But I mean, I think it could be a possibility.
Either way, though, like that, it feels like we don't. Oh my gosh, there's been so much mystery. Is Gemma alive? Is she dead? And now we see that each of these four people have a clone, an LMD, or a friggin' robot, something.
Yeah.
You know, are they sentient? I have no idea. So it's like maybe Miss Casey was just kind of more further along, and like these are just kind of like betas. You know what I'm saying? Like they're testing them out, and they're just there to, I don't know, freak him out.
Yeah.
You know, if you want help, you could have given like signs, like this way, right?
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, maybe they wanted them all to connect. Actually, they probably wanted them all to connect with Kier, just like the freaking weird pictures of that milkshake got.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Natalie said last week, like so that you can see yourself in Kier,
Yeah.
and it's like that's weird, and I think that's.
And I think they're trying to like build, like once again, they're trying to build up the lore of Kier. Like it's I think that's part of what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is they're trying to make him seem like he's such a larger than life figure that it is the idea of going against him seems like foolish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well.
So they follow these.
Well, hold on. No,
twin
we
guidance.
We need to give a definitive statement now. Right
Oh,
now,
gosh, here
where
we go.
where are we at on these things? Are they trying to clone the four of them, or are they just there to freak him out? Like,
It depends if it's a simulation or if it's something. Like, it just depends on that. Like, how you're feeling about that. I
Because
think.
if it's simulation, it'd be quite easy to
Yes.
just.
Correct.
is it a simulation? Okay.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Here's the thing about it being a simulation that, like, if it was real, wouldn't Irving probably die sleeping outside
Correct.
in that cold?
You would think so.
Potentially, right?
Yeah. Or at least have some sort of trauma from
Yeah.
sleeping.
And
in
at the
the
same
cold.
time, on the other side of that, like Irving was definitely drowning Helena in something.
Correct. Yes.
So wherever they're at, if it's a simulation, there's at least water
Yes.
that's there. So
Well, like a simulation, more like when I was thinking simulation, I was thinking more like this is a mind-based thing. Whereas like all their minds are in a simulation, almost like going into a video game.
Like the new Jumanji movie.
Yes, something more like that, rather than like a simulation, like the area that you're in, your physical body is in it as well. If I would say simulation, I would think it's more of like a mental thing.
Like Matrix. They're connected to the Matrix.
Yes, like they're connected to the
God,
Matrix.
I'm even more confused.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that yet.
Yeah.
I think as of right now, I'm putting that in my back pocket and hold on to that.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I think they were actually at a retreat.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was in the building or not is for me the biggest question right now. Man,
I just
dude.
can't see how they wouldn't be in the building. Like, how would the four? Well, we know why Helena would do it, but why would the three Audis be like, sure,
Yeah,
let's?
why not?
I just
Yeah.
can't imagine
Unless
that.
they were promised answers or promised something.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
weird.
Or like it is weird, and it's also like, although we've seen them be extremely lax on security, like
That's dude.
like you would think if they actually put them out in the wild, that there'd be something
Yeah.
there corralling them in some form or fashion.
That's true.
And they essentially let
The heiress of the company
Yeah.
almost die a second time.
yeah
point.
that and essentially let Irv I mean you were essentially letting Irv just die out in the cold.
Yeah.
Potentially. Even like the very beginning, they're really not like there doesn't seem to be any like specific guardrails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does Lumen not have more manpower to like,
That's a great point.
Like,
yeah, how are they
every-
enforcing all this stuff that they're doing? Like, there's at one point as an innie, you're like, no, I'm leaving. Like, I'm going. Like, who's going to stop you, right? Milchek is the only person who's going to stop you. Miss
yeah, but
Wong?
still, like, even
Yeah.
that, like, at the end of the episode when Milchick's telling Irv to stand up, turn around, I just want Irv to be like, shut the hell up.
Yeah, no. Why
I
would
wanted him to do say
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
like that.
that was like it was like it would have been great if he had done something.
What are you going to do to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
But
what,
yeah.
I think that's another big question is like, what is the authority? Like, why are they so
Like, why do they not need security?
correct? Yeah.
They literally had somebody in security, and they have yet to replace him. And since that security left, they've become so increasingly
Disobedient.
more disobedient.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, why wouldn't you be like, we need to get somebody else in here?
And, like, clearly, to me, it's pretty clear that Milchick definitely knew that Helena is now there, not Helly.
Yes.
So it's like, this is a decision from the top. At least a few people know what's going on. Milchick had to know.
Yeah.
And it's clearly somebody's watching. Somebody's in the security room as well on the Glasgow block.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, you know that Helena's there, and it's Helena. You have to protect her.
And they don't.
And they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay. Anyways, the freaky demon twin,
Yeah.
things that were created somewhere, however,
Well,
3D printed probably.
Yeah, actually, that's more like it. Actually, we'll figure that out as we
Dude,
go.
that's what O&D makes, dude. They make freaking they just 3D print these things.
replica
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
I mean, maybe.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, we'll probably figure that more about that later. Hopefully, unless this is gonna be like the goats of season 1, where that's it, and then you're never gonna see everything about it again
Yeah.
until season 2, season 3.
Season 3.
But yeah, so they follow them to this cave because they need to find the 4th appendix.
Hey, they found
Yes. Yes.
And they did. Oh my!
it. They went on a
gosh.
quest,
How about this
side mission.
Yeah.
this story here?
Yeah, that story was
Well, I guess before we get there, there's still a lot that happens before there because they continue walking, and they come across a dead seal? Question mark.
They said
Yeah.
seal.
I wasn't
but
seeing it.
Honestly, what I was thinking of, and I know it's not connected, but I was thinking like you know the movie Tusk.
Oh gosh,
That's kind
Oh,
of what I was
gosh.
thinking, like a almost like a crazy like human
Hybrid thing. Yeah.
hybrid thing.
So okay, so
Okay, so again, if it's out in the wild,
yes,
then it makes sense why they might not know that it's there.
correct,
If it's a simulation, if it's in everything has a purpose.
correct.
Yeah,
So what's the purpose?
Okay, so the seal in general, like, did it look like a seal? Kind of looked like a lump to me, but then like
Yeah.
as I started walking away,
The backside of it, you saw like.
it looked kind of looked like the back of a human's head. It kind of looked like
Yeah.
Didn't you
I was
get
gonna
that?
talk
Little
about
bit.
it looked like. I was talking about like the webbed feet, kind of
Well,
mermaid.
I saw the web feet, mermaid type
Yeah.
style, but then like if you looked up, it kind of looked like a bald person's head. It kind of looked like
it
I don't
did.
know.
When it was turning away, I'm with you on that part of it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like the fact that they kind of lingered.
A
But
little
that
too
last
long.
shot,
Yes, correct.
They lingered.
Okay, so in mythology, all right,
All right,
I
here we
think
go.
it's either Scottish or Irish or something like that, right? Mermaids, like they transformed into like seals slash
Manatees,
manatee,
things like that.
yeah, manatee, seals, mermaids, whatever, right? So like, what if this is like supposed to be like some sort of replication of like a transformation or something like that? Like,
Well, okay, so do you know where Glasgow is? Scotland.
Scotland.
okay, all right, there we go. So maybe it has something to do with it. I don't know. I don't know.
And they're
I don't know.
transforming.
Exactly. Like I think the innies and the outies, like they're going through a transformation.
Yes.
But I think that's like more of like the metaphor style of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Like what it actually was, dude.
Knows?
It's one of those like who knows what
and
it
I
could
did know
be.
Irv wanted to eat it.
Yes. And I will say,
So
like,
quick on that too.
so they started really dropping hints in here. I feel like there were so many crumbs in this episode about Helly.
Oh yeah.
So many. Even the way she was like, "Oh, I wish I knew where we were going," and it almost felt like she winked in the camera. Like, she didn't actually, but
Yeah.
like just like the look on her face was like,
Yeah.
I literally wrote it down. I was like, it looks like she knows like
Yeah.
where this is, or I wish I knew where we were, and then it felt like she knew where she
they
was.
were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it also felt like she knew that this story was bullcrap as well.
Yes. Well, I mean, as soon as Milchek got involved too, like I feel like her and Milchek, like she kept kind of pushing the boundary
Yeah.
a little bit with him. Like,
Dude, but by the way, he shows up looking
Yeah.
just
oh,
amazing,
dude, he
all
is
white.
incredible. The drip is insane,
Dude, it's
dude.
incredible,
Oh my
dude.
god.
Oh my gosh.
I do love it.
And it's also interesting, like just the way they dress them. Like all the MDR are all black.
Yes,
and then
that's a
of
good point.
course
He's all
Miss
white
Wong
and-
and him are in all white.
Yeah.
Like
Which
sinful without sin.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I love that. That's good, man. I didn't think about that until right this
Symbolism.
second. Good job. That's
Yeah.
great. There's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of symbolism here.
Yeah.
But I think it's after the seals when they run into Milchek, right? At the water. Is it at the waterfall? The Woe's Hollow.
Yeah.
Yes. And like it also I think they dropped somewhere in there like that's when the first time we get Irv questioning Helly.
When
That's
they're
right.
walking,
Yes.
he's
He brings it up.
asking Mark. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And he says, well, I think it's shortly after that, but he's like, tell me again about the Night Gardener. Like, was
Yeah.
he have a flashlight? Did he have a luminescent vest?
Yeah, that was
Like,
that was
Yeah.
the sit down they had at the
the fire.
at the fire, yes.
Dude, the sit down at the fire. Are we here now? Are we gonna?
No, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Milchik shows up. They get the book. Yeah, I guess that's about. Well, yeah, we can talk about the fire.
Well, let's. I guess the story. Milchek and them. Well, Milchek says there's the finest meats and s'mores.
Yeah.
At the,
I
at
kind
the
of wanted to
fire.
know what the meats were.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, you saw Dylan eating some of it
Because
towards
we've
the end.
only seen them eat like snacks out of the snack
egg salad.
machine.
No.
Yeah, and then deviled eggs
Yeah.
and
Yeah, like
waffles maybe.
Which makes me think like what do they mean by like could you just lie?
Yeah, of course.
You give them a McDonald's hamburger?
And it's the most delicate meat.
Yeah,
the finest meats.
this is a golden steak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah, because they don't know better.
They
This would be
don't.
something they would 100% not know the difference between.
Yeah.
But
But yet Irv knows what a gardener doesn't work at night. Interesting.
It's
Yes.
again because
Right?
they're not. They know things. They just
Yeah.
don't know specific.
yeah,
things.
like you wouldn't know like.
But then Dylan didn't know the sky didn't have a ceiling. Like
well, no, he did.
he said, he's surprised it didn't have a ceiling. What do
No,
you?
what he said was, "I know there isn't a ceiling, but
It's incredible. Yeah.
it's because there's this like."
But still, even that
it's-
statement alone, that's something
it's
you
the
don't
di-
make
it's
if you
the
know
di-
there's a sky.
Well, but the thing is, no, it's not that. That wasn't what that statement was. It was the differentiation between the idea of knowing something and actually experiencing something.
okay,
That's
okay.
what that was.
That's okay. I get that now.
yeah, and here's another one. Sleep. Think about it.
yeah,
This is the first time the innies, outside of maybe dozing off at work,
yeah.
Which
Like
you're
Irv,
not allowed.
which you're not
Which,
allowed
yeah,
to do.
which-
There's once we get to the Irv part, I have theories that go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is first time they've like been allowed to sleep.
Yeah.
And I almost wish they would have mentioned something like
Like make a big deal about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
like-
it's
Yeah.
your first time.
first time. Like
Yeah.
when they said 2-day
Well,
trip.
there wasn't much sleeping going on in one tent.
Well, that's true.
Oop.
That's a
Oh,
fair point.
There also wasn't much sleep going on in Irv's tent.
yeah.
Yeah. We're not there yet. We're not yet.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Where the heck was Milchick sleeping? He's
Yeah.
got like his own camp.
He
Yeah,
probably.
I think they
went
actually
back to
did
his
have
office.
like a they
Yeah.
were like I think
back
once again they
rooms.
were kind of a little bit off. Like they were almost separated.
Well, we didn't see where they were.
We never saw his camp.
Camped
No.
out at. Milchek tells the story.
Okay, dude, story time. Story
Dude,
time.
What in the heck was this story? Like as the story was going on, were you guys like, were you mesmerized by the story because of that? What was that? instrument that Huang was playing? What that? Dude? It was like a.
I don't know what it was, dude. It felt like a Mongolian
It's not like
instrument.
it's not a synthesizer, is it? It's like something different.
Theremin, mate, was it?
Oh yeah, theremin. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Good job.
It felt like a Star Wars instrument. Dude.
But she's just
Star Trek.
She's,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, I mean,
Really?
the theremin is what they played the original theme on.
There you go.
Look at you go.
Even better.
Hey, look at that.
That was pretty close.
T-roll. But
Okay, keep going. Story time.
But anyway, yeah. So she's playing that theremin in the back, and Milchek is into the story. Did you guys notice when he's telling the story, he's not even looking at the book.
He's reciting it.
He's
bro.
reciting it. Like,
This is scripture to him, dude.
yeah. But the
It
story
really
is
is.
so strange.
It
Man.
is weird as can be.
When it gets to the like spill your lineage onto the floor.
Yeah, like the weirdest.
And then he becomes one with the earth. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it was
His eye popping out of his socket.
Yes.
I mean, dude.
graphic, very
Yeah,
graphic.
Like
So graphic.
Really
and then
weird.
only for that story to be followed up by laughter. That was
Yeah.
such
And
an
and laughter
interesting
by
moment.
who?
Helena.
Yes.
Helena.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I said she was like every word is truth, and then she immediately laughs after that line.
Yes.
It's like she's like, I
This-
know it's not.
Yeah.
This is my life.
So,
Yeah.
so okay, with that in mind, right? Keep that
Yes.
same energy there, Shimano. With that in mind, do you think that this is a made up story that Milchek is? He's not, like I said, he's not reading anything. He's not looking at it. He's reciting it, or is he trying to say it to the innies in a way that they would understand it? Which we had the whole Rickon thing in the previous episode, where
Yeah.
he needs to reword things for the innies to understand better. What if he was just trying to tell a story that he thought would connect with the innies, but Helena's like, "This is the best you can do."
Yeah.
Is-
I mean, what if the fourth appendix is actually just Rickon's book?
Oh gosh.
No.
Oh,
Because
my
it was
word.
previously unknown.
Yeah.
You know, they said they were going to
Rickon's
reword
next
his book to be something that the innies could understand.
Dude,
Like,
you heard it here first.
No,
folks.
that's a good
pretty
thought.
incredible.
But
Actually,
again, it gets
why
to the-
bring that up in the previous episode?
Yeah, but it gets to the point of we don't know how much time has passed, which
Yeah.
is what bugs me the most about this
Yeah.
show.
Which you shouldn't trust because clearly it's not 5 months.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It
you're
clearly
right.
wasn't.
You're right.
but yeah, I think it's just
Okay, so,
it's
sorry.
definitely some sort of an allegorical tale that's supposed to. It reminds me a lot of stories that you hear about, like the Il family in North Korea, where like they create all these crazy ideas, like in stories that make them seem like they're
gods.
godlike,
Yeah.
or literally gods. Like the fact that like there's one that they have that, oh, he doesn't go to the bathroom because he works so hard that his body literally just, you know, turns everything that would be that into like fuel for him, and like things like that. Like every time he bowls, it's a perfect game.
There you go.
Like, you know, things like that. Like,
Chuck Norris, right? Like
yeah,
that's what
it's essentially it's a lot like Chuck Norris type
There you go.
stories.
There you go.
And I think that's how they've 100% presented Kier, is like this superhuman being without fault. You know,
Yeah.
all these like kind of weird stories that, you know, are very fantastical and a lot of times allegorical, like in the sense of like them just being like, honestly, Milchek should have just said, these are all the words may not be, the exact story may not be, but it's the
meaning behind
the
it?
meaning that he is telling you. He is.
Which I still don't know-
Kier
quite
wrote
know
this
the
to
meaning,
teach
yeah.
you something.
Yeah. But only to have Helena like mock the thing, and
Just
then Mark
completely undercut him.
yeah, and then Mark joins in as well, and then because of that they lose their s'more privileges, which
Yeah.
those square marshmallows with Kier's face on it look pretty good, man.
and everyone was like, "Come on, really?"
But Dylan was so distraught, dude.
Yeah. Of
course he
Oh
was.
my gosh, poor Dylan. And then they storm off into the woods, right? Like just
So,
vanish.
so do you guys think like, okay, did Milchik come up with all this, or is this like protocol for certain employees if they need to get that far?
I think it's both. I think it's protocol, and it allows the floor manager, supervisor
discretion.
to have discretion
Yeah.
about how they're going to handle it. And Milchek is, we've seen, he's a little bit strange dude. He's a little bit of a weird dude. So he could have come up with the story off the dome. Like, I don't know. It could be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's protocol. I think it's just they might not always need it.
Correct. Yeah.
Now I will say there were he showed them pictures and
Pictures,
things
that's right.
from the book.
That is true.
So
Dude, yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Woe?
yes.
Which we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so Milkshake storms off.
And they all
marshmallows are burning.
This is where they have the conversation.
This is where the fight
Yes.
happens.
Yeah, they're talking about the Night Gardener.
Yeah.
And she's just like, it was nothing. It was boring. It was whatever, right? And so then she like straight up, you're just saying this because you miss Bert. You'll never see him again. And you're really lonely. That kind of thing, right? And he said that was really cruel. And like,
later on he said that.
F you guys. And then even Dylan's like, dude, whoa, like too far. Like when he tried to attack Helly, and he storms off. Irv storms off and takes the torch that can also be used as a light.
But also is there to protect.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and for safety.
That's right. There you go.
I think that's important for later on.
It is. It is. So then he leaves, and then they all kind of go to their like tents, and then Mark crashes.
Here we
Helly's.
go.
Yep.
Dude. I kind of knew something like this was coming because when like the episode started, you get the ratings on the side where it's like LV, M, or S or whatever, right? And the S was on there, and I was like, okay,
All right.
Yeah, we haven't had anything sexual
right.
yet.
Yeah.
Something's going down in this episode, and
Either that or you're going to see something with like Gemma or something like that,
How
Which we did.
First off, any Mark, if this is truly like any Mark, which we yes, I believe it was. How bold he is to. He's essentially like they're all essentially like innocent, naive versions of adults, right? He sticks his head in, talks about Carrot is probably what his member looked like.
Yeah.
And then he closes himself in. Like he literally comes in and closes himself in. What a move to make. But of course, this is where it gets weird, guys. Because the reveal of that she's Helena later, basically she sexually assaults this dude.
I was just about to say it.
It's
Pretty
100%
close.
because he is under the full impression that this is Helly.
Yep.
And their relationship is based off of things that are done previously.
Yes.
And now Helena,
It's a different person.
what does that tell you about Helena?
Tells you a lot of things about Helen.
Yeah.
It honestly, you go back to when she's reviewing security footage. She's not reviewing security footage. She wants to feel what Helly feels because she has been robbed of that her whole entire life.
Yeah, and another part, like she brings up loneliness, and when she brings up loneliness, it doesn't always feel, it doesn't 100% feel like she's talking about somebody else.
Yeah.
Like I feel like she's like I previously stated, it's almost like she is like a princess.
Yeah.
Like, like to this point where
Stuck in
she's
her tower.
so she's like so almost removed from the world.
Yeah.
And everybody's so like stand off.
She feels the disconnect.
Yeah, like there's always a disconnect between her and anyone else who exists. And the innies are this world where she can exist. She sees this world that she can exist in and just be a person.
There was a shot earlier in the season where she is staring out at the parking lot, and you can see her staring, but you can also see her reflection, like looking back at her, and it looks sad, like the sad reflection.
Yeah.
And I think truly, like, she just wanted to feel something in general.
And so here's another thing. Mark's innie. So how long has Mark been working at?
3
years?
2.
2 years.
Yeah, because Bert has 3, he has 2, Dylan has
Irv.
1.
You guys
did it
dude.
again.
You guys did it all last week, dude. I can't.
We
stand this.
did.
It's getting to the point now where it's really you now, man.
Yeah.
I've kind of moved past. I'm just kidding. I'm still there. So Bert is
Irv.
No. I'm talking about Bert.
Okay.
Bert is really old.
He was
Slow
only,
down,
but
dude.
he was only there for 7 years, though.
He's
Or
been there for
9.
7.
Yeah.
Even 7 years. Okay. So, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
So, at the most we know about is 7
Yeah.
As of right now.
as of right now, right? Miss Casey said, "I've only been alive for 11 hours." You remember when she said that, or something
it
like
was
that?
12 hours,
12
I think,
hours,
yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. But my favorite 2 or 3 was
No, favorite 8.
No, I think she said I've been awake for longer than that. I think it was significantly longer than that because she said my favorite 8 hours.
Oh.
Might have been I've been awake for 72 hours.
Something like that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Something like
There
that.
you
Okay,
go.
great.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Here's the point I'm trying to make. Like, these are adults. The innies are adults, but like they're also very young.
Correct.
So Helena doing this,
Taking full advantage of.
to some extent, Mark's body, he is not a virgin. Like,
But his mind, yes.
but the innie Mark,
yeah.
like she took his innocence.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
I mean, this is wicked.
It was an awkward scene.
Yeah.
Like it was very awkward, very still, like
Dude,
very.
and what the heck is Mark thinking later on?
Dude, that's gonna be fun to unravel.
yeah.
That is gonna be fun to unravel.
But you know what's gonna be funny? Next week, it's not
not
gonna be
be
touched on.
addressed.
Nope.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You're 100%
So-
right. We're gonna get a whole Rickon storyline next week. 'cause,
Yeah,
Hon-
exactly.
Honestly, I think what we're gonna get next episode is gonna be an episode about the lead up to this.
To this
episode.
one? Maybe.
Yeah.
So real quick,
Honestly, 'cause I looked
buy
up
or
forward
sell.
to the name of the episode.
Buy or sell.
I hate you, Shimon.
Helena is pregnant.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
That would be.
I mean, that would make sense. It would fit.
It would be a very interesting.
She would have to produce an heir,
I
right?
did think about how.
Oh,
I did think about how like weird it would be in general to be pregnant, like in that world. Like all of a sudden,
Well,
you
we've
look
seen it.
down, and
Have
you're
we?
just like,
Yeah. The girl at the retreat. The senator's wife.
Oh, but I think he's talking about like going to work. Like when you go to work and you're Innie's pregnant, but you're like you don't know how
that's-
how it happened. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
yeah.
Is that what you're
like
saying?
looking down, and you're just like, you have a baby bump, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. But it's like, so imagine this. You're Helly. You love this man.
Ooh. Yeah.
Your body is pregnant, but you didn't experience that intimacy with this man that you love.
And you also may hate.
And you definitely hate your outie.
You hate her,
Yeah.
and you actually almost see this as essentially her forcing a baby on you.
Dang.
Like,
Dude,
And dude, if you're Helly, you've already tried to take your own life. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like it could get
Dark.
dark.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could get
If-
really weird.
If she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a wild thing to bring up to you.
I mean, because he would have no idea how to use protection. So, like, how that existed, like, you know?
very interesting. But yes, we
Probably.
do get this very romance love scene type of deal.
And while it's happening,
Spliced in is Irv roaming through the night
and
woods.
I think it's interesting the story of that Milchick Reed's Dieter or whatever his
Yeah.
brother is engaging in just not fornication. They're engaging in
Spilling his lineage.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like let's just say sin. It's sinful kind of like rebellion, and that's what Kier's brother is doing, and that's what
Helena's doing.
Helena and Mark are doing.
Yeah.
And Kier is fleeing, and
Irv.
is fleeing,
Freaking symmetry, dude.
and the symmetry because this is where Kier meets Woe,
That's,
Yep.
and Irv.
and Irv also met Woe.
Yes.
But here's the thing: Irv fell asleep at the rock, and then he
Yes.
enters into this dreamlike state, right? Where
Yeah.
he's
It's
gotta
wearing,
be a dream,
he's wearing
right?
a suit, like
Yeah.
he's
that's right.
he's He goes up to this dude. Okay,
Crazy.
This dream
Crazy.
sequence.
He's at the cubicle again.
This is the only scene in this entire show where I actually went back and paused it because I wanted to see what was on the computer screen.
Okay.
So like he goes up to his
Glad you did that because it was a lot.
yeah, he goes up to this computer screen. He sits down and he's like typing away like it's normal business, it's normal numbers. And then Bert pulls down the divider, gives him the classic Christopher Walken like stare down look.
Yeah.
I was like,
look.
dude, he's such a cool dude. And it goes up. The screen starts swirling around. At first, there's just a bunch of numbers, and the numbers
Numbers mean something.
they
I don't know
mean
what they
something.
mean.
I don't know what they mean. But
Yeah.
at the top of the computer, the name of the file is it starts with an M.
Oh,
Yeah, it starts with an M. It's shoot, what is
it's
it?
not Cold Harbor.
No, it's not. It's like Munchik or a Monic or I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Okay, gotta go
I was in the moment. I was paying attention to numbers.
Was
for
it
a moment, but-
MN?
No, it was like MON. I think it was like Monarch or
Monday.
something like that. Anyway, forget that.
Okay.
Don't
All
worry
right,
about that.
all right, don't worry about it.
Not right now. The numbers changed to numbers and letters.
Yeah.
I saw the letters.
And the letters started to form like Egan is what it started to form. So the last time Irv daydreamed at work, he
Yeah.
got the paint. The paint spilled in. And if you remember in the finale, Irv was at a payphone saying he got hit message to the innie. Remember that? Irv said
no. Say that again.
Irv,
Yep.
when he was at the payphone
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
he said the innie got the message, or like I got the innie the message. Like
I thought he said, "I got your message." The Audi Irv said that.
Audi, I thought he said I got the innie the message, or
I don't think so. I think he said, "I received your message."
okay, I received your message. Well,
Something like that.
Okay, well, what if when
Maybe when he was what if he was
when he was daydreaming, when Irv was daydreaming in the Severance floor, right? He blended on the outside world to him, right? Well, what if it's happening again? And because we know that Irv is looking into everything, we know Irv
On the outside.
on the outside.
Maybe he found
What
that
if
there was
he-
an Egan.
connection. He found out that Helly or
Oh,
Helena
that's
is
cool.
Like,
Egan,
in like the
and
list
it's,
of names.
It's coming through the computer screen, And then when you see the letters, the Egan on the screen, you then see whoa, this creepy looking
Yes.
Wild.
T-roll. Did you jump scare out of that?
No, because I had a feeling like it was going to come, and it
Okay.
did at the
Yeah.
end, like when she came on.
Yeah.
But it was just, I didn't
Yeah.
want to look her in the eye.
No.
And then when she turns her eyes to look at him, I'm like, no, man.
Nope.
Yeah,
She's just typing away, doing
and the way
work.
she moved to was not like
Yeah.
natural in any sort of
Twitching.
way.
Oh, dude.
I am 100% wondering, like, is each one going to be a representation or connected to the Four Tempers?
Did you notice that the boxes at the bottom, even last season, they're all the Four Temper abbreviations, like whoa,
Yeah.
what is it, despair or something like that? Or, I don't know, it's
Woe,
Frolic.
Frolic,
yeah.
Dread, and
There you go, Dread.
and
Yeah.
Malice.
Yeah, they're all the abbreviations for that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, are they going to each be a representation of that? Because, like, you can think of like Irv's, like what he's going through. It's woe in a lot of ways. Like,
Each character, I think, is going to have to
is going to have to deal with that. So, like, you're
Dylan's
talking
probably
about
going to be Frolic. Like,
you got Frolic, and then you have like, is Dread going to be like
Mark.
Like Dread could either be Mark or it could be
Helly.
like in the
That's a good
sense
point.
of like,
Good point.
because we still don't know her 100% motive, like for why she chose to go under as Helly. Why Helena tried to go under as Helly.
Yeah.
Because I still think there's a lot of things that they've done to where, like, it's ambiguous. Like, I think they're trying to draw us into the straight line of she's just on the company line doing this. But I think the things that she's actually done have made it seem like I don't think she would have slept with him if, like, it was just, I'm just here to do a job.
No, I think she
There's
really
more,
likes
like-
him.
Like,
She wants that
the only
thrill.
the only thing that
so
I could
too.
say is we did talk about like the idea of what if there's something with Cold Harbor and Mark and this specific thing.
Yeah,
like,
he was getting on this last
and
week.
they're-
And
and
my,
they're trying
I saw him go
to-
down that rabbit hole.
like they're trying to do something there, and her objective is to get pregnant by Mark.
gosh, I just,
Goodness gracious.
I just
Goodness
can't
gracious. That's why
imagine
Mark
that.
is so important.
Yeah,
I just can't imagine that. I feel like it's more likely. I respect your theorizing, Shimano. I feel like it's more likely that, like,
keep them bloodlines pure.
No.
like Milchick knows that's Helena down there.
Yeah.
That was that to me. That's obvious after.
Yes.
you know,
Oh, it's
this.
100%.
Yes.
There's no way. It can't
But
be.
I think she's kind of doing her. She's like, I'm gonna get me some too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And in this case, she definitely
Trying to stay in
did.
control. Trying to stay in control.
I don't think that the board,
Yeah.
whoever the board is, no. I just don't think that they know.
There's a disconnect somewhere. Like she shouldn't be able to have this much
When
free
she
reign.
told Mark, I was disappointed with who I am on the outside. I don't think she was trying to be Helly there.
I think she meant it. I think
I
she
think she
truly
meant
meant
it.
it.
Yeah,
as,
I
do too.
As Helena, I think she meant
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good, Tyrell. I'm glad you brought that up. We see Irv wake up from this dreamlike state, right?
Yep.
And also Mark wakes up at the same time, and Helly's gone. Dylan jumps out. Irv never came home last night, or whatever, right? And then they go running through the forest trying to find everybody.
Imagine your first time ever sleeping and you can't even really enjoy it.
Correct. Yeah. What is Helena doing at Woe Hollow? That's what I want to know.
That is a good question.
Do you think she is so distraught because of what she did, the act that she did, that she just had to go for a walk and see the waterfall, and then Irv just happens to?
It is the world's biggest
Like,
waterfall.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. The
I think
world's
it has
biggest.
something to do with like her idea of Kier. Like she was literally going to the
questioning
place.
things, or she was like kind of like a pilgrimage to.
I think like that, or just like the idea of like she needed to
refocus.
focus that idea,
Yeah.
either refocus that idea or just using that to think about how she actually felt about Kier and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Whether for the good or the bad of the situation. Like I think that's how it lays out is. I think she was kind of just like almost like if you were to just go to a random like a spot that reminded you of a family member and you were to talk to them like almost going to like a gravesite and talking to that person.
Yeah. And again, I still feel like Helena, we don't know everything. We don't know her full motive. Like she puts on the front, on the outside, that she's the powerful future leader of Lumen, but I still sense a lot of distrust with her own father.
Yeah.
And like when she's laughing at the story, I think there's, she's enjoying being free. This is the most free she's ever been, pretending to be Helly. So she's really enjoying that, which is also funny because like
everyone else is in the box.
Well, did she like let Milchick know that she's gonna hysterically laugh at this?
Probably not.
I don't think
wonder.
so.
No.
It looked like he was
and
genuinely
it's like,
pissed off.
And he has to be. Imagine him. He's like, I know that's my literal boss.
Yeah.
But I have to treat her
she
like
can
crap.
ruin my life.
Yeah, but I have to play the front.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It is an interesting idea because
So
like
wild.
in a way like all the Audis are free on the outside, but she's inside a box. And on the inside, all the innies are inside a box, but she's free.
She's free.
Like it is kind of like this interesting like duality. There's a lot of things about duality in this
So
episode.
It makes me really wonder, like, whatever the goal of Lumen is, whatever the goal of all of this is, which we were talking last week, like, I think it has something to do with the board. I still think the board is somehow Kier's like AI consciousness, like a fragment of his mind has been somehow saved. Somehow, I don't know how, in this world, but and they're trying to, and that's why there's all these freaking clones everywhere. they're trying to get a new host body for Kier and resurrect him almost.
Yeah. But they need the right body and the right mindset. It's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Is like that's why
Like
they
all
pull
the
people
conditions
in
need
there.
to be right.
And
is
then
what
like
you're
they
saying.
kind of like you gotta like kind of line up the mind like in,
And I mean,
in training.
to some sense, if I guess this gets at your theory about it being Mark, but if they could turn Mark off with this chip and he's the perfect host, can they resurrect Kier in Mark's body?
That's kind of what I was saying is like they're trying to align his mind by having him do these tasks on the computer to align with Kier's mind so that it's easier for him to take over his mind potentially.
Jeez. Okay. I think it's time to bring it to the climax of this episode. Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
the waterfall.
Irv shows up and he says, "What are you doing down here?"
Yes.
Which when he said that, I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
again, I'm still thinking, up to this point, I'm thinking, I think it's outside, but maybe when he said that, it almost like, knowing what he knew then, it's like he had so much clarity, I would say, from his vision, from his nightmare, where it's like he knows she's a fraud, he knows she's an Egan, and he knows that he's still downstairs.
Yeah.
You know?
Which of course it's interesting because they play it because it looks like they're down because the waterfall is high and they're down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's asking her more questions. She's continuing to deny. And then he just grabs her.
Yeah.
And he's yelling for Milchick. They're Milchick, Mark, and Dylan are also looking for them.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to recap it. He calls her an effing mole.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I think he actually also said earlier before he started to try to drown her, that who could possibly have the power
That's what. Yes. That's what he says.
to do what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so go back to the computer for just a second.
Yeah.
So it says the word Egan. Is that her face?
Yeah, because there was a face on that
Yes.
screen.
Ooh.
Was that her face? Was it Egan and the face?
There was a
I
face.
guess
Would
it
that
is her
would have
face.
connected it?
It's
Because
gotta
I
be.
don't think. So it's very possible that he sees Egan, he sees the face, and then finally the last thing that puts together for him is the idea of who has the power, who has enough power to put themselves in here.
Has to be an Egan.
Yeah, so I think it was kind of like it finally all clicked into place for him mentally in that moment.
And dude, when he is drowning her and he is telling Milchick he'll do it, and Milchick's trying to scream at him across the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'll kill her. And then she comes out of the water and she says, GD, Seth, just do it.
Yep.
Yes.
And he said, yeah, Seth, do it. That's her.
Yeah.
He's like
And
taunting
I think
him.
that's going to come back because remember when Dylan's with his wife
Yes.
and she
Yeah,
says
Gretchen
Seth
said
and he
that,
said,
yeah. Who's
don't.
Seth?
And then I think that's going to trigger something for
Dylan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
Boys, this was wild.
It was.
And this is where we get the gloss
Well,
scope.
there was
rock.
also a funny line in there. I was trying to look up the exact quote, but I couldn't find it. But like when they get to the waterfall and like Irv and Helly are kind of talking, and somebody says something to Milchek, and Milchek's like, "Oh, I thought you were distracted by the satiation of the world's largest waterfall." Like, I forget the exact
Okay,
quote.
so like I'm thinking, okay, so the world's largest waterfall. What if it's true? What if it's because they're in this world they've built? It is the world's largest waterfall.
Interesting.
Like if it's an underground facility inside of Lumen or something like that,
yeah.
or if it's just like a facility
Yeah,
inside
maybe
of
so.
Lumen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not a lie. It's just not the world we think of it as.
Exactly. It's the lumen of
Yes.
it all, that kind of thing. But then you're right. Yes. So Seth picks it up. He's like activate or what?
Deactivate the
Glasgow
block.
And she is literally head in the water. You hear the ding while that's happening, and the look on her face, and then he pulls her out of the water. Dude. That was trippy.
You gotta feel
wild.
so bad for Helly.
Because if you think about it, the last thing that she should remember is being tackled on stage.
Yeah.
And then to wake up and you're in the water, submerged. That is, dude,
Gotta
that
be
is just
frightening.
absolutely, that is insane.
It'll be a terrifying experience.
Yes. And
and she's about to be so confused.
what is
hurt.
Mark thinking in this moment?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know,
He's
man.
like-
Because,
Oh, I screwed up.
well, Mark's also probably thinking like, well, I just saw Gemma as well earlier. Like
Yeah,
he's
that's
going
all
through the
you really-
reinitiation process.
And that's really into his
reintegration
reintegration.
project,
Yeah. Which we didn't even hit
Which
on.
we still haven't quite figured out how much Mark is playing.
Okay,
Like-
but I think that shows us that I think that's the only moment they made it clear where he reintegrated for a moment and he saw Gemma.
Well, his personality was a little different this episode, and I think it was because he was playing it out. He was like giggly. He was like, he seemed overly involved, which he's not usually overly involved at this point.
So are you saying you think it was more Audi Mark?
I think it was him trying to
Maybe
readjust,
melding his personalities together
because
maybe,
they're
a little bit.
they're forming together. Like apparently there's like a period of time that it takes to fully reintegrate or something like that. Because so I feel like he's just trying to balance the line. He did seem off. He seemed like he was different, and I don't know. His personality wasn't fully Mark.
I would argue that he might just be different because he had a crush on someone and it got exposed openly to other people
Yeah.
you care about.
It's possible.
He can make Google eyes whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He can.
Dang, dude, I don't know. I think there's something there. I think he was kind of playing into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, like the two person, he's not the same person, but maybe it's like it's becoming a more of a mix. Maybe if the minds aren't quite like the thoughts aren't quite perfectly aligned, but the personalities are starting to become more one.
So Helly's awake now, and she has no idea what the heck's going on.
So real quick, let's celebrate. We get Helly back.
Yes.
Because in your theory, I was like, why would we ever see her again?
And here you go.
Yep.
But what it took is essentially the sacrifice of
Big time.
of a character.
We know it's a sacrifice because of what Milchek literally says to Irv. Like,
It'll be like as if you never breathed upon this earth.
Yes, your
Yes.
immediate dismissal, and it would be as though you never breathed on this earth. Like that is absolutely insane. The
Crazy.
think about
It was
walk
it was,
to the woods. Like he just starts walking to the woods.
Yep, and I think it was almost like it reminded me of like a moment of like the hero knowing they're about to die, and it almost like the maybe like the final moments of Rogue One when they're on the beach.
That's a good-
for a
that's a good
moment.
comp. That's a
like
good
there's
comp.
like at the moment they just kind of give into their fate.
Yeah.
you know, and I think that's kind of what he was doing at the end. He knew he had accomplished his mission, and that he was, just resigned to his fate.
And the screen goes black there. Like
Yep.
that's where the episode ends. And I was like, no.
But yeah, now we
give me more.
Now
Wait,
we're
you
gonna
didn't see-
get.
You didn't see a post-credit scene?
Was there a postcard? No, shut
I
up.
got you,
Now
bro.
we're gonna get.
For a second, you got me.
Now we're gonna get those scenes where, like, I think Irv's gonna be the driving force on the outside now too. I think that's gonna be part of like the way to keep him around is like because he does, like we have said, he has the connection. He's been looking at finding other members of people that
True.
work
It's true.
at
We
Lumen,
saw that on the map.
But
here's the thing. Milchek didn't say to initiate a certain protocol or anything like that. He just said now, and it happened. So, like, would Audi Irv be there presently in the woods?
That's what I'm saying.
So,
Yeah.
Yes. So that's another huge question.
If they are outside,
yeah.
if they are outside, Audi Irv could wake up and be like, "Who the heck are these people?" If they're inside, they just unsevered him on a lower floor.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know, man. Answers. We need answers, man.
Yeah.
I think if we go another episode with only more answers, I'll start to get a little bit more antsy as far as like, is the show actually a good show, or is
Or
this
is it just
pretending
question after
to
question
be
after
a good
question
show?
after
Yeah,
question.
like that's the thing.
I know.
As of right
I get a
now,
little
like, I'm
nervous,
in.
too.
I'm in right now, but I'm extremely nervous.
I'm excited to hear from Helly.
Yes. Okay. I feel like the only thing left to do now is like theorize what we think is gonna happen. But this is why I hate these mystery box shows, because we're gonna say a whole bunch of weird stuff right now, and all of us will
It would
be
be
wrong.
much more
Yeah, because
mundane.
none of us thought we were going to
Or-
wake up like on Lake Michigan.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in the
Yeah.
snow. Like none of us thought that would be where we were going
Yeah.
this next episode.
Yeah.
Correct. And dude, I don't even know where to start with what's to come.
I mean, legitimately, I think the next episode is going to be largely about Helly.
What's the title of the next episode? Just tell me.
Trojan Horse.
Trojan's horse. Not Trojan horse. Trojan's horse.
Could that be a reference
Like
to?
apostrophe,
Could
Trojan
that be a
apostrophe
reference
S.
to T-roll
Let's hear it.
a pregnancy?
Oh,
But
my
it would be
gosh.
like,
gosh.
I mean, it would be leading towards the idea of they planted this person who they are expecting to be one thing and they're actually another, and inside their midst, and is destroying them and then destroys them from the inside. Like that would be like what her character is. So I think there's a decent possibility that maybe we see the other side of, like, it's a largely Helly or Helena episode where we get to see moments
motive.
of like the motive on the outside maybe a little bit, and you get to see these moments of like her reacting to things, like more like moments of her truly being herself.
Do you want to hear what the brief description is? Like the description for episode
For all
4.
episodes were brief.
Yeah.
Well, the description for Woe's Hollow was the team participates in a group activity. So it's a short sentence.
Yes.
For Trojan's horse, it says tensions emerge after the team suffers a loss.
Okay.
It's got to be Irv, right?
Irv has got to be
yeah,
a loss.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably, I think it's going to be a little more on the inside, potentially.
Some.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think so.
But you know what I want, though? I want an episode of both.
We need it.
In
We
and out.
need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see how. It's hard right now to picture what it looks like going back and forth because of, especially right now, especially with this retreat. I just can't picture going to see an Audi storyline after seeing that they're in the middle of nowhere, quote unquote, supposedly, right? And have this back and forth, because I feel like this retreat opened up this whole new world of like, are the innies like really stuck somewhere, and the Audis are now canceled? Like, I don't know. It's weird to think about.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's crazy. You know, something.
Because technically, you can cancel the Audis by never letting our innies leave, and therefore
I know. Well, dude, we talked about that last week with the goat people. Like, it looks like they've been there for a
they are
long
very
time.
Okay, so
disheveled.
one problem with that would be the fact of all like families. Like Mark's family would be like, his sister would be like, "Hey,
Where's
he
my
hasn't
brother?"
gone home.
Yeah.
He hasn't been home in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd be that type of situation. So I do think it'd be
That's
harder
fair.
to
It's fair.
to.
Or what if the whole city is severed and they're actually like just flip a switch and then forget about them?
I mean, I
Well,
mean,
that seems to
yeah.
be Kier's, or yeah.
That's the political climate on the outside.
Well, that seems to be the goal of Helena's dad. I don't know which
James.
His,
Yeah.
Jame, Jame, right? Or is it
I think it's James. I think it's James.
James?
I
I
think
mean,
so.
if it's James, then
I think it's James.
that would be like the most like mundane name they've come up with. That.
Jame. Yeah, all those names are.
Kier,
Yeah,
Dietrich.
right.
Like-
Pip. Also, the overtime contingency. It's like, I think when they first mentioned it, Mark made a comment like, "You guys never said you could do that."
Yeah.
But it's like
It was in the
in the fine print,
in
yeah,
the handbook or
handbook.
the opening. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just feel like
Onboarding.
somebody
There you
would
go.
be like, and if this was real, it'd be like somebody would make a big fit about that. The
Correct.
fact that they can just do that anytime they want.
Yeah.
There's
That's messed
there's
up.
issues. There's issues here for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, man, I don't. This episode kind of scrambled my brain so much to where I'm like, I don't even want to try to think about what happens next, because it could be anything at this point. Like, this opens up a whole new freaking
Sorry,
can
dude, you're on a
of worms,
podcast.
man.
You got to think about what's coming next. You want to hear what our boy Ryan Gibbs thinks?
Ooh, okay, let's go, Gibbs.
He said this. He said this show definitely ends with Helly taking over Helena's body permanently.
Ooh. I can get on board with that. I'll buy that.
Glasgow block reversed.
I'll buy that.
I mean, it's very possible. Like they do it in a
Be
sense.
kinda cool.
She essentially becomes like the most anti severance
yeah.
person, and basically burns down the whole system type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be wild.
I think another thing that would kind of add to that is like this is clearly not our world. Like I feel like because there's 208 nations and there's not really like countries. There's not really that many, and there's
It's like an alternate universe.
it's a state
But it's
of
definitely
state
Earth.
of Kier. It's Earth for sure, but
It's
like
the United States, clearly.
what does the rest of the world look like? So if Helly did take over, what would she be contributing to the world besides
Where
Severance,
does
besides
Lumen
ending it?
fall in the
Yes,
political
that's
structure
very
of
good.
the
Yes,
world?
yes.
Yeah.
Are they essentially a part of
Are
like
they heavy hitters basically? Like, do they control the climate?
do they do they have input into the actual like legitimate political workings? Now, I will say they aren't all powerful because
The protesters and stuff like
because
that.
there are protesters and there is talk of like police officers and things and authorities. Although there is like the idea that the authorities are maybe paid off by Lumen,
That was hinted at.
but paid off is not all powerful,
Right.
because all powerful would be the police are Lumen.
Right.
Like they literally just like they walk around. They just have like Lumen. Like the police officers literally just have Lumen name tag. Like
SS badges.
Like essentially, yes. But I don't think that they didn't make it seem like it was like that.
You mentioning law enforcement being paid off, like Gretchen was a police officer, right, or a security
Something,
guard,
some
or
sort
along those
of
lines?
something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because that's very interesting to me too.
Which you guys, the episode I missed, y'all were like, "Who is Dylan's wife going to be?"
Right.
And they made it seem, and we mentioned this last week. At least right now, it's like it's just some lady.
Yeah.
So there might be more to that.
But my spidey sense is
There's more to that.
because the actress that plays her is a fairly good actress. Like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
prominent in the comedy world and
Right.
that kind of thing. Like
I have.
you wouldn't bring her on just to.
well, they got
just to-
Keanu Reeves to be a building.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
What are you thinking, Shimano? You're thinking something.
Okay, so
Here
one
we
of the
go.
later episodes is called After Hours.
Stop looking at other stuff. Okay, continue.
And what if that episode is largely based around her, and she also works at Lumen,
Yeah, I think she could be.
but she's just not. Maybe
a night guard or something. Like walks
like,
around.
Yeah, like she does something, so you're gonna see that part of the world, and she just works the opposite shift that Dylan does.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Well, they should be making better money then, if that's the case.
You would hope so, right?
But they also control the economy, so it's like,
Do they pay for housing, or does Lumen provide it? That's the thing.
I think only Mark.
It looks like only Mark because
That
there's
whole-
no other people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they brought it up in season one that
did.
like he's the only one that has chosen to live
On
in
housing,
in
yeah.
their house.
He's like, yeah, there used to be more people, or they think someone were going to move
Yeah.
in. Like he literally said it like
Of
that.
course, there's also Helly, who's possibly living on, because she's she's literally an Egan, so like
Yeah.
she might also be living in some sort of Lumen housing or something like that.
Yeah.
Although unlikely, she's probably off somewhere on some resort style house. But yeah,
Something I need from the next episode.
Okay, let's
The
hear
one thing that I need from the is Mark's reaction to her
All right,
being
me
Helena.
too.
If that is not addressed,
I know.
and if there's not a scene where he is like, "Holy crap!" Like I was under the impression that you were Helly, like. And he's having a conversation with Helly. You and I did stuff, and it wasn't you. And how do you feel about that?
Yeah,
That kind of
because
thing.
if you're him,
Yeah,
you've got to come clean.
yeah.
I mean, you have to, right? You
have
can't just hide that,
I mean,
right?
to some extent, let me think. Hold on. No, okay, maybe Dylan knows. He might be smart enough to put 1 and 2 together. If Mark's tent was empty,
Yeah,
but Milchick might not have any idea. And so the reason I feel like he's got to come clean is
At least to Dylan, I think he needs to come clean, because Dylan is now on an island to himself. If Mark and Helly are off on like a relationship.
Oh, to keep the team a team, that kind of thing.
Because I mean, it would be interesting to see like where lines get drawn. Does Dylan move towards Lumen or away from Lumen? In
no,
this
he's gone
situation?
now.
I
He
think-
just saw his friend die.
Yeah,
I think
he
he's
essentially did.
I think.
Well,
I mean,
Irv literally looks at Dylan and is like, hang in there.
yeah. But real bad. I was talking about coming clean to Helly, like because if he doesn't, and Helly and Helena hate each other. That is the clearest of everything that's not clear in this show.
That's the clearest.
The clearest thing in this show is that Helena hates Helly and Helly hates Helena.
Yeah.
Like it is
Yeah.
so obvious.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. If Mark doesn't tell Helly, which Helena will have access to all these tapes, Helena could
Drop any of that stuff.
drop a line somewhere.
So once again, Mark is essentially in a relationship with 3 different women.
It's true.
Yeah.
So true.
Also, okay, whoa, we're not done. I know we're gonna stop looking at the clock, Justin. What does this mean for Milchick?
Ooh.
His Ortbo project failed.
Miserably.
Yeah,
Helena has been
miserably.
exposed.
Yep.
Like,
Irv is going to be gone.
Irv is gone.
Are they going to replace him?
are they going to hit quota? They need the whole team. Irv was a great employee for MDR.
Yeah, he was.
So what? So here's my theory.
Has the board lost faith in Milchick?
So who's coming back to save the day?
Cobell.
Cobell.
Yeah.
Which
very
I
possible.
thought I saw Cobell in this episode, just to let you know. But there's no way. I think I was wrong.
Yeah, you're definitely wrong.
I thought I saw her standing on the cliff.
Oh gosh, it'd be so freaky.
But anyway, I'll just throw that out there. I don't think it was.
Just
but
like
yeah.
the ominous like person in the
Yeah.
the hallway episode 1 of Behind Mark. Dude, was that one of those ghost freaking twin people?
Maybe.
Remember that dude
Yeah,
just
the dude who
standing
was
there?
staring at him in the
Is that just
wellness
Mark? Is
room?
that
Yeah.
Mark's
Maybe.
other twin?
Maybe it could be.
Same one that was in
Yeah.
the I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I have a feeling there's gonna be
oh,
time
gosh, just
involved.
the thought of like eerie figures
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think Milchick might be in trouble, which is
Yeah, I think it's very possible that he is.
Dude.
But yeah, and also like I said, are they going to fill in the team? Who's going to be the 4th person? Because think of how quickly they replaced Petey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was
Good point.
almost instantaneous.
Good point.
I think it was literally a day
Yeah.
between them getting her in after Petey left.
Yeah. That's a good point. Dang, dude. Dude, I just want next week to come because I really want to watch what's the heck's going to happen here.
this show really messes with your mind, dude. Jeez. Okay, I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Feel good? Last thoughts? Anything to add? And don't say you're just excited to see what happens.
I think the only thing I would want to add.
What is it?
Great. Now you threw me off. Irv.
Yeah.
Have we seen the last of Irv? I don't think so, but
I think
find
any Irv probably.
well, what is Audi Irv going to do now that he's separated? He's severed. He's like he's severed from his severed body,
I
like
don't
that
know.
kind of
That's
thing.
a good question.
Full-time investigator.
You think, or like you think he'll track down Mark?
Dude, he
and
said
you
he's
think he'll
got
track
money
down
upstairs,
Dylan?
so he might not need a job.
Yeah, like I want to know what happens to Irv because Irv has been a very pivotal character in season 2 and towards the end of season 1. Like he's actually, I don't know, he's actually like making waves in innies within the innies. Like he's it has to do with his obsession with Bert. I don't know. I feel like where did they go with the Irv character or what things that he's done?
And I think it was really interesting because I feel like they buried his story a little bit at the end of season 1. Like I talked about in the podcast last week.
Even episode 3, like the export hall. Like,
Yeah,
they've buried that so far.
Well, but yeah, like they buried that part of it, but like I think that reopened like the idea of how important Irv's character is.
Yeah. Or what if I just can't thought of this. What if Irv last we saw of Irv, he was talking about the export hall, can you take me there, right? What if in the last episode Felicia took him there and he's currently on the test floor right now and all of this Irv is the only one who is experiencing everything and everybody else is just a figment of his imagination because he's on the test floor.
Maybe.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh man, there's so much you have to build
And then,
so
and
much
then they
out to
just
pull
like,
that
and
off.
then they're just like, oh, Irv decided to leave of his own volition.
Right.
He just he decided to retire, and then all that stuff about Helly.
And that
Never is exposed to
that all
anyone
played
else.
out in his head because he was already questioning it before he went to the
Yes.
export
He was,
hall.
yeah.
And it was a way of the company trying to get information from him, and they were testing him to see if he was going to be a company man or not a company man, and they found out that he's not a company man.
And then
because
they
he tried to drown the company owner.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then that information is actually locked up in that simulation / dream sequence, and Mark doesn't have to deal with telling Helena.
Gosh, if you're right about this one too, I'd be so mad.
Yeah, that'll be such a
such a stretch.
it would be such a rug pull on all of us for
Correct.
like the truth of Helly to not be like to be inadvertently like
False.
just it will be all real, but like no one knows it.
Yeah.
You know?
And they said they had to end the test because he did discover that it is Helena, and then they go and there's a scene of them talking to Helena like, he's on to you. We got to be more careful. That kind of stuff, dude. It's gonna be
and literally, well, they
That's
just
funny.
and they literally they retire Irv and they bring somebody else in.
Yep. And hopefully that does it, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. That's a big stretch there, but I love it. All right, time to close this up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this review. Be sure to join us next week. We will be reviewing episode number 5. We will also be reviewing the new Captain America movie, so be on the lookout for that. Marvel's back? What? Will Justin say?
Will I say the line?
Is Marvel back? We'll find out. With all that in mind, for my good friends Sandy and Shamato, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.